Here we are in Prague, and if there's one thing I associate Prague, Czech Republic, and Czech Republic, I immediately think Martin Juza, member of the Magic Pro League. He's 4-0, and he's facing off against no slouch, Sweden's Magnus Lanto. Great to see these great players battling out, and I'm really curious to see what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, both of them are very experienced Magic players with lots of successes at the high-level events. But Martin Juza, I mean, he's a different level by himself. A mind-boggling 32 Grand Prix top 8s already, like the all-time leader. And well, he's hoping to go for a 33rd this weekend.
It's insane. Like, Martin Juza is just a GP machine. And even though when you're part of the Magic Pro League, playing GPs but this doesn't really give you any big benefits, it certainly does help, and making your resume grow even further and build your brand. And Martin has done a great job at that. He's really known as the GP end boss of sorts.
Oh, absolutely. Well, in terms of what's happening in the game, well, we had some early creatures. A Sultai Skullkeeper, that's a 2-1 on Martin's side, and a Cathodion at 3-3 on Magnus's side. And well, there was a Frantic Search discarding Think Twice for value, right? That has flashback, because you can just
that's
cast
value.
it from the graveyard.
I love that.
And I think that's a demonic tutor.
It is a demonic tutor.
I got a quick look at Martin's deck earlier. I think he's just splashing black for cards like Demonic Tutor, Shriekmaw, Gurmok Angler maybe. But yeah, if you haven't drawn the splash color yet, might as well discard it.
Yeah, the value, look at that. Frantic Search, untap 3 lands and using them for Think Twice. Ooh. I'm loving Martin deck so far, but he might really need that black mana to really show us his full potential. And he's facing off against the Meringue River Prowler, a creature that could be quite annoying when it comes down early, as it can't be blocked at all. And here's a Kodama's Reach. That's going to fix the mana. Yeah,
this is one of the cards that Martin was hoping to open the most, actually, in the sealed deck. He's a big fan of ramping, fixing your colors. And, well, in the meantime, also just getting extra cards into the graveyard, which is pretty important for Delve and the like. Martin will be able to power out a 6-mana card on the next turn if he so pleases.
Let me tell you, the card that not just Martin, everyone has been saying that they want to open the most, it is Kodama's Reach, because it just allows you to play a lot of colors, play your most powerful cards across the spectrum that you have at your disposal, and it's just obviously a fantastic Magic card to have in this, particularly in this format, where either you're fixing or you're ramping. And especially if you're doing both at the same time, and pulling out some big Ulamogs or Mahamoti Djinns or whatever, it's just great. Yep.
Yeah, if Martin's deck is firing on all cylinders, he has access to the combo of Pulse of Murasa with Archaeomancer.
Okay.
Where Archaeomancer returns an instant or sorcery from the graveyard. So you get back the Pulse of Murasa, then you jump block, then Pulse of Murasa returns something from your graveyard back to your hand, and you also gain 6 life.
Sure.
So it takes a lot of mana, but it is an engine in the late game that is the essence of Dirtling, as you might say. And that is what Martin's deck is capable of.
Yeah, it's a neat. Archaeomancer actually fills a very interesting role in these decks, because blue has a lot of self-milling, so does black. You have like your deranged assistants, your Crow Dark Titans, your Sultai Skullkeepers, right? And Archaeomancer can bring something back. You also have something, one of my instructions that I quite like was Archaeomancer with Turn to Mist. You can flicker it and bring back either the Turn to Mist for a blocker forever, or just try to do some other fancy stuff. Of course, Death Denied, another interesting piece where you can bring back a lot of your stuff. So Archaeomancer fulfills a lot of interesting niches, but it does cost 4 mana for a creature that's not very strong on its own.
Indeed, but it just goes to show that this format is all about the synergies and the incredible number of combos that you can assemble. All right, so 6 mana. Now this is where Martin has to start affecting the board. Of course, he's getting beaten down by the Meringue River Prowler, which cannot be blocked, and the Cathodian.
Yeah, that has already dealt quite a bit of damage, but Gurmok Angler is a decent blocker against the Cathodian at least.
It's a fine thing to play on this turn. Bit surprising, of course, that he leaves 2 mana open, but he's using that for
Dimir Guildmage, one of my favorite cards, as I've already mentioned quite a few times on the stream already. Yeah, and it's a card advantage engine, but again, when you're facing off against creatures, you have a tough time blocking. Like the River Prowler, it's actually at best because it just simply can't be blocked. It's not like a flyer. right? So the Ripprow is actually quite annoying, even though I rarely find a way to include it in my Ultimate Masters decks. But I already seen it be quite effective from what I've seen.
Well, here I would have to imagine that having a combat trick or some removal spell or a way to bounce the Gurmag Angler is going to be of prime importance if Magnus wants to keep up the pressure. Because if Magnus is only able to attack for 2 with the Meringue River Prowler and that's it, well, you are falling behind while Juza is developing his board in a very effective way.
Well, let's see what Magnus plays. He ramped up quite a bit. He's up to 7 mana, and for 5, okay, Whirlpool Adept.
Medium, 4-2 prowess. I mean, with some non-creature spells, it can turn into a 5-3 at least, which means that it doesn't just trade for the Sultai Skullkeeper. And then it can also attack into the Gurmag Angler.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I like the Whirlwind Adept with something like Flight of Fancy.
Oh yeah,
it's a nice 1-2 combo of like cards that people don't really pick highly in draft, and they're not forcing themselves to play them in sealed. Like Shrigmaw for 5 mana, the full value.
Well, you certainly cannot target the Whirlwind Adept because that one has Hexproof.
Yes, it's gonna be the Reprowler. It can come back.
Yeah, but you do need something for that. You need to control a black or green permanent, then you can cast it from the graveyard.
Yeah, let's see if Magnus has anything to make that Adept unblockable in one way or another, because otherwise his board situation is looking very poor.
Yep, he is falling more and more behind.
At least Cathodian can block a creature with fear, such as the Shriekmaw.
It's a relevant interaction.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorite cards, actually. I've really enjoyed it. It has brought me my first GP top 8.
Which one, Cathodian or
No,
Shriekmaw?
Okay. Shriekmaw. It's a card I really liked over the years. So, yeah, there's a Frantic Surge.
And Shriekmaw is good for 2 mana, good for 5 mana, and the Frantic Surge is particularly good when you discard 2 Madness cards. Wow.
Jeez. Yeah, so that's going to take the Shriekmaw, which is 5 power. I mean, now 5 power with fear. Rootwall is a decent blocker as well. Remember, we've also triggered the Adept. So it's now a 5-3, so it can actually attack quite well here into Martin's board.
It's one of the better Frantic Surges I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, agreed. That was a really good one. Okay, and a Mad Prophet as well.
Just get in there, turn everything sideways.
Yeah, except the Rootwall. And maybe even Mad Prophet can attack here.
And the Rootwall has Summoning Sickness, but the rest, just go mad.
The Shriekmaw probably has to be blocked, right? Because it's 5 power and his fear, so the Dimir Gimage will be forced to block it. Yeah, if he attacks with everything, like Martin has to block both of the bigger creatures. So otherwise it's lethal. The Adept is 5 power. The Shriekmaw is 5 power.
Well, you can block one of the big creatures and, say, the Mad Prophet. So you can jump block the Whirlwind Adept and then trade with the Mad Prophet, fall down to 2 life.
Yep. It's tough decisions.
But one way or another, both creatures will have to be on blocking duty. So Magnus is not in danger of dying on the swing back. Wait, what happened to the...
What?
To the Mad Prophet?
I don't know. Did it spontaneously combust? It wasn't discarded to the Frantic Surge.
No.
Oh, foil? I think Martin played a foil, right?
Oh, that's
in his graveyard. And I see an island, a foil, and another card. So actually, Martin used a counter the Mad Prophet with foil. It was done really quickly here. While we were focusing on combat math, he decided to go with the foil. Whew.
Yeah, there is effectively a 0 mana counter in this format. You don't see it being used for that mode all that often, but when you have to, just what you gotta do.
Yeah, but use it down to 2. It's a dangerous life total. No, that was a sick Frantic Surge, like Basking Ritual and Malevolent Whispers.
Really I mean, the very best ones are when you discard Malevolent Whispers mid-combat. For those of you who still remember Ray of Command from back in the days, trade for 2 attackers.
Yep. I think let's see if Magnus draws something here. I mean, the Angler is going for a lot of damage, but I think Magnus can attack with everything. Before combat, he can probably bring the River Prowler back because he already has a Ritual in play.
Yep.
That's gonna guarantee lethal on the following turn. And here, I think, yeah, Martin User would have to block with everything.
Yes, he does, and then everything would.
Everything would die.
Well, yeah, everything would trade basically. Dimir Guildmage on the Whirlwind Adept. Oh wait, no, hold on. That Wicker Borer Elder can just kill the Cathodian, turn into a 4/4, and then you're suiciding your Basking Rudwalla.
That's why we have you in the booth, Frank, the expert here, identifying this line of play, leaving Martin User with quite a bit of leeway, and then making the attack not so great here for Magnus Lanto. But on the other, Magnus can still maybe try to be on the defensive, bring back the River Prowler, and just hope for the best. Okay, there's a Boar Umbra.
All right.
That's a big adept. That can also be destroyed by the Wickerbow Elder if Martin wants to.
It can. Though, let's see. If Magnus attacks with the adept, it could be jump blocked by the Dimir Guildmage. Then the Elder takes out Cathodian. You get back the Prowler, but then you are actually dead to an attack from Martin, because Rudwalla can jump block the Gurmag Angler in that case, but the Morang River Prowler just cannot block. It literally says so on the card.
Yeah. So let's see if Martin finds the right set of plays to win this game. It's very tense already.
Yeah, this seems like a very dangerous attack.
Okay. So blocks with the Wickroll. It destroys the Cathodian. It's gonna take.
Yeah, but now Martin doesn't have lethal against the Morang River Prowler.
I'm surprised the Adept died, because I thought the Umbra is giving +3/+3, and the there we go. Yes. The Elder is only a 4 power. Whew. For a moment I was scared that I was wrong again.
No.
About Sign and Checksum. This time I was right.
Yep.
The Dimir Guildmage doing work here can also block the Shriekmaw.
That one definitely swung the whole combat mat around.
Yeah.
Just getting an extra blocker is hugely important here.
Yeah, I'm surprised Magnus didn't bring back the River Prowler.
I'm a little surprised too. Maybe he was trying to keep mana up for Basking Rudwalla, but
possibly.
I don't know. The River Prowler, is lethal, but Martin had 2, so
Yep.
there was definitely some incentive to put it onto the battlefield.
So Shriekmaw attacks, Dimir Guildmage blocks, they trade, and now Martin's gonna go for a Tolerance. Okay, so that can bring some 2/2 Flying Drakes, and I know Martin actually has an Urban Evolution in his hand, so if he can survive long enough, he can find plenty of blockers.
Is easier said than done.
Yeah, of course. There's a block. Now the Borumbra falls off with the Totem Armor. Okay, Wickerbow Elder. Still no River Prowler. Magnus might have missed it.
Yeah, he may have just forgotten that it is there in the graveyard. Well, that is unfortunate for Magnus.
Yeah, so now Tolerant, Urban Evolution. That means that drawing 3 cards, getting a 2/2 Drake, getting to play an extra land, which is great with the Dimir Guildmage for one of the following turns, possibly.
You also draw 3 cards, which may very well have another instant or sorcery to trigger Tolerant again.
Wayfinder finds a land, dig through time, Archaeoman's Sleight of Hand. I like Martin's deck. I really like what it's doing.
I think Martin even has a living lore. That's the creature that can exile an instant or sorcery from your graveyard, and its power and toughness becomes equal to its converted mana cost. At least I remember seeing that in his deck. Pretty sweet when you can exile dig through time.
Sure. Yum yum.
So what now for Magnus? He can, let's see, attack with everything. In that case, Martin will have to block all creatures, given that he's still at 2. That actually seems decent. I don't think Martin will be blocking with Telrand. but
sense.
but then you're still making decent trades if you're Magnus. Morten actually values the Dimir Guild Mage more highly than Talrand. Or this is actually a decent one. I like this. You do need to get rid of the opposing creature somehow. Talrand is just about as valuable as Dimir Guild Mage at this point, so might as well double block to get rid of the 3/3.
Ah,
there it is.
Magnus remembered. Post-combat, Meringue River Prowler. It's back.
Better late than never.
Yep. Does Martin have anything to do with it?
Well, he has a Dimir Guild Mage.
So he can dig.
Yeah. He has
Draw
some draws.
card. Yeah, Meringue River Prowler can't block and can't be blocked. So the ultimate attacker, and I think that's it. Right, Martin looking through his graveyard, maybe looking for something.
Yeah, well, maybe he has a... well, I guess if he has a Meringue River Prowler of his own, that's not going to help. Maybe a flashback card of some kind.
He drew one more card, he's probably going to scoop it up. Pretty sure, I think he has shown a grip full of lands and is like, yeah, Magnus there's like... you can see, raise up, oh, yeah, it took me 3 turns to remember. Oh well, I got there anyway. Better lucky than good. Says Magnus. Yeah, I'm a good friend of his, so I'm allowed to poke fun at him. He's a good player, mostly known as Magic Online grinder, and certainly likes to prepare. He's shaking his head. He's like, yeah, yeah. 2 turns earlier, I could have done that. But yeah.
Like yeah.
All right. So as Martin tries to figure out a way to come back into this match. We can take a quick peek at the standings. Only 4 rounds in, but there's going to be a lot of players in 4-0. We have over 2,000 players, just a huge tournament. Some of the names that you might recognize: Piotr Glogovsky, Pascal Viren, Alexa Telerov, Andrei Strasky.
Andrei's in the feature match area, actually. We might see his match as well this round.
And also, he's the previous GP Prague winner, right? With Spirits.
Oh yes, it was here, indeed.
I think it was here.
The defending champion, so to say. Yep. Just as he was about to retire, he won a GP, unretired. Yeah,
a couple of other somewhat known players in Mattia Rizzi, Julien Steele, Matteo Mora, and so on. But we can go on in the standings and just keep going with names that we recognize. Jean-Emmanuel Depra, another member of the Magic Pro League in 29 so far. Of course, so is Ray Sato. He's here.
And how about Greg Kowalski?
Yeah, of course.
As well.
How could I have missed my Polish friend there? Torov Severin, Branko Narek, Martin User, Elias, Christopher Larsen. This is like the who's who of European GPs. Plus with some feature appearances from the Japanese player, of course.
And also my compatriot, Philip van Donselaar, doing well. He's a GP veteran.
Okay, fair enough. All right, maybe we have one more slide of players. There we go. Who we recognize: Mark Tobias, Philip Krieger, Leon van der Linden, Arne Huschenbeth, Yoshiki Ikawa, Jeremy Desani, of course, and Andrea Mengucci.
Another MPL member.
Yeah, so many known players.
And Nikolai Herzog, Hall of Famer coming out of the woodworks.
He's here.
I mean, we haven't seen him much, but Ultimate Masters was fun enough for him to come out and play at a GP.
He probably knows most of the cards, right? He's been playing for such a long time. He's a limited master that he probably just like looks to set like, yeah, I know these.
Yeah, I can figure this out.
Yeah, he can check out a couple of the new ones, right? And sweet stuff there. So many great names and players, and it's always a pleasure, especially at these big European GPs. I remember even in Warsaw 2 months ago, it was a similar thing where it was all the known players from Europe making the trip and playing limited, and it's just so easy to pick up, right? You don't have to pick a deck. You don't have to figure out the cards. And you're just going to come, pay your entry fee, you get some packs, and you get to build your deck. Sometimes even not preparing can be an advantage. You don't come in with any preconceived notions about the format. You can have a clear look, and I think this is one of the things that I think I mostly respect about the really good limited players. They can come into the format and really very quickly identify like what their decks are going to do, how they're going to attack, and like how they're going to try to win their games, even without maybe even knowing the full format.
Exactly. I would expect to see many experienced players at the top of the standings as the tournament progresses. Because this is just a format where the average Grand Prix competitor will not have played many sealed decks or drafts before. And there are so many interesting interactions, combos, synergies to build around, new cards to evaluate in the context of a new format. this really favors the people with lots of Magic experience and skill.
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, like for those of you wondering, wait, isn't it called Magic Fest now? Well, the tournament that we are watching, that is still a Grand Prix as usual, but is being held at a Magic Fest, which contains, well, the Grand Prix, but also plenty of other side events. The hall has been brimming with excitement. There's actually multiple halls here filled with people.
Yeah, it's huge.
You know, you have artists, cosplayers. It's a great event all around.
Yeah. So Martin used, I think, mulliganed, and now, but he has a Sultai Skullkeeper on turn 2. Mills his Dimmer Guildmage and an island. Let's see if he can find maybe his Kodama's Reach, a card that looked quite important in his deck. No, nothing just yet.
Well, not even a third land.
Yeah, exactly. Does Magnus Halantra have anything? No, he does have 3 different colors of mana, but no spell just yet.
No, I would have loved to see here the Frantic Search into Untap, into Reckless Worm, Ambush, Gotcha!
That would have been sweet. Yeah, Frantic Search allows for quite a few interesting things. There's the Wicker Ball with a counter, of course. There's a Wild Mongrel. Okay, Martin User could be doing worse things for 2 mana here, but he really needs that 3rd land to get going.
I guess he now has plenty of cards to feed to the Wild Mongrel.
Yeah, it's a 100 doggo.
Yep. It's been fun seeing people play this card, especially on Magic Online, where you have to announce the color all the time. In regular Magic, it's mostly about discarding a card to give it +1/+1, and many people don't even announce the color. But when you're playing on Magic Online, you can go through the entire rainbow, first making it blue, then making it red, ending up as a black mongrel.
Yeah, so there's the Wicker Ball, picks up a Boar Umbra, grows up to a 6/6, and the Wild Mongrel doesn't want any part of that just yet. So Magnus really trying to go on the attack. I would love for Martin to play a white or a red land and attack, discard his hand, play double cleave, for the win or something.
It is probably possible, yeah. Become a man's double cleave, just win out of completely nowhere.
Yeah.
He would have had to sideboard into that kind of nonsense.
I know he's playing black as his 3rd card. There's the Kodama's region. If Martin User had it in his opening hand, he's probably very disappointed to have stalled on 2 lands for a couple of turns.
Yeah, well, it's always the risk when you keep a hand like that.
No, let's see what Magnus can follow up here. All right, 4 mana, Frantic Search. All right, maybe Malevolent Whispers.
Oh, and then take the mongrel, discard your hand. That might be lethal.
No, Fiery Temper, pretty good as well. So go face.
Face?
And Soul's Fire, take face, 6 more damage, and attack for 6.
Yeah, well, you have to attack first, of course, but
yeah. Go to 11, take 6, attack for 6. Magnus Lanto, you have a...
Oh, and did he float
no, I don't
a red
think
mana
so.
in response to the Frantic Search?
Yeah, I don't think he did. Oh, or did he? Or he's signaling that he could have done it.
I don't immediately remember him tapping a mountain before casting the Frantic Search.
Yeah. I think there might be a judge call involved here, and I'm not sure if he announced, but he did it really fast, probably excited that he knew he had the win. So you're just trying to say, like, look, I knew I had the win, like I played it the way because I knew I could float the red mana. So we might just get a judge to figure out if that's going to be allowed. Remember the interaction for those of you unaware. You tap 4 lands. You play Frantic Search, you leave one of the red mana, you leave it floating, you resolve the Frantic Search, untap the mountain again, and there it is. So, slowly demonstrating again, and then Magnus shaking his head, but got there. That was a really sweet play from the Swede there on our right.
Yeah, a bit of a confusing end to a game. Magnus will probably not be happy when he looks back at this match.
Yeah.
But he got there.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty clear that Magnus tapped a bunch of mana and did it really fast. So I think just Martin got a little bit oh, hold on here. Like how do you have 2 red mana going on there? And just Magnus had to slow down, go back and explain it step by step, so that he can demonstrate that it's possible for him to do it thanks to the Frantic Surge untapping the mountain and giving him the second red mana he needs.
That would indeed be possible, and hopefully that's also what he said or maybe communicated to Martin as he was setting up the place.
All right, that was a quick first match here in round 5 in Prague, but we're going to be back with more Magic after these messages. Hello and welcome back to GP Prague. I'm your host Matej Alkai here with Frank Carson, and we've just seen a quick fire match between Martin Juza and Magnus Lento. But if Ultimate Masters about something, it's about cool interactions. And actually, we found someone in this hall who is doing some crazy plays left and right. So we went on a prowl to try to find this person and try to put them in the feature match area. And we're going to have a look if the deck can do what we think it can do. So let's head on down to our Time Walk Magic here at GP Prague. And it's actually Vidar Hasselman against Miodar Kitanovic. And I don't know which one of these players it is.
Oh, I do know.
But I assume it's the person on the left.
Yes.
So Vidar Hesselman, yes. So Miodrag Kitanovic from Serbia, I think he's not known to play those kinds of crazy decks. I know him a little bit here. But he starts off with a Basking Rutwala, pumps on turn 2, swings for 3, and maybe he wants to, kill Vidar before he sets up his crazy combos.
Well, he surely doesn't know what's coming for him yet. So just to set it up, how Vidar won a previous game was by first casting Blast of Genius. That's draw 3, then discard a card, and then you get to deal damage equal to its converted mana cost. Discarding Artisan of Kozilek, which is a card with converted mana cost 9. So take 9, and then on the next turn, Vengeful Rebirth, return a card and also deal damage equal to its converted mana cost. So take 9 again. Thanks. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All right.
And also just to add some consistency to the whole plan, Vidar's deck supposedly also contains some treasure cruises, which you can discard to deal 8.
Nice.
Along with a living lore, which can exile the treasure cruise to become an 8/8. So lots of sweet synergies, and I hope we get to see some of them in action this round.
All right, so Miodrag has the Rutwala. It was tapped once with Ice to draw a card for Vidar Hesselman. Now Miodrag is attacking again with Rutwala. No pump this time, probably going to deploy a bigger creature here. And we'll see, I think I see Moan of the Unhallowed. Yep, so two zombies are going to join the Rutwala.
Yep.
Not much going on on the Vidar Hesselman side of the board just yet, but surely he's going to get somewhere if he has the land necessary to pull these combos off.
No, well, first he has to defend a bit from this onslaught of creatures.
That's a good defender. You mentioned Living Lore, so there it is. So 4 mana, exiling the Fire Knight. So now, how does it work? The Living Lore with Fire Knights. We know the interaction from Magic Online wasn't particularly correct a few months ago. So how does it work?
I believe it should be a 4/4, right? So its power and toughness are equal to the exiled card's converted mana cost. And for converted mana cost of split cards, you just add them up. So 2 for fire, 2 for ice, making it into a 4/4.
Yeah, the rules are a little bit sticky there. If when you cast them, it's a little bit different than when you count them. But with like Dark Confidant, with the fire, you lost 4 life with Fire Knights if you flipped it over. And it's a similar situation here with Living Lore. So it is a 4/4. Ooh, and Miodrag Kitanovic not scared of a 4/4 blocker here.
So the big card that Kitanovic is representing here is Last Gasp, which can give -3/-3 to any creature. Often used as like a straight up removal spell, but can also be used as a combat trick in the same vein as Giant Growth.
Sure, so there's the Last Gasp on the Living Lore, making it into a 1/1, so the zombie is going to get rid of the Living Lore. And now?
Yeah, so when Living Lore deals combat damage, you may sacrifice it. If you do, you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost.
Yep.
So you get to cast the Fire Ice for free. Not bad.
You don't have to deal combat damage to your opponent.
No.
It deals combat damage, very important. And Miodrag Kitanovic was surprised himself. He didn't know about this interaction, and quite important one at that. So Miodrag adds a Lava Claw Reaches to his mana base there, signaling maybe some red cards. So let's see what Vidar Hesselman is going to be up here. I think he has a Murderer's Red Cap, but doesn't have a second red or a black source. He does have the Vessel of Endless Rest. Puts the Moan on the bottom of the library. I love this interaction when you get rid of the flashback spells in this way. Of course, Miodrag can draw it if he shuffles his library somehow, but it's quite unlikely. And Miodrag was actually close to flashing it back, so very timely Vessel.
Vessel is way more than just a mana ramp card in this format. The Graveyard Hate actually matters. Oh. Now, even if Kitanovic didn't realize the Living Lore interaction, his Last Gasp play is still perfectly fine. He traded Last Gasp for Living Lore, and Living Lore was going to trigger anyway.
Yep. So our chat is actually pointing out that we were wrong in the interaction. The problem is that with Living Lore, that it actually dies during combat. So while it triggers, it has to be in play for you to sacrifice it.
Ah, that's how it works.
Right.
Right.
So this is a time walk match, so we can't really fix it. The players are way past this point, so we can't really fix it. But chat, you are right. It's not a trigger when it deals combat damage and the thing happens. It actually involves the sacrificing of the Living Lore. Actually, this play was illegal. And again, one of those interactions that just doesn't come up often. and both players miss it, just like with Containment Priest in our previous rounds. These things do happen, and too late to fix it now, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is a set with lots of weird cards from way back, with strange interactions, and well, it just unfortunately happens that they get missed.
Yep.
But yeah, good spot
catch.
indeed.
Good catch, Twitch chat. You're the best.
Yeah.
And the worst at the same time.
But yeah, it is a time walk match, so we cannot go back in time to fix this.
Yep. So there's an Ether Snipe for 6, bouncing the Rutwala, and also presenting and finally good blocking creature for Vidal Hesselman, and maybe allowing him to set up stuff for his following turn. Just an Unholy Hunger for Kitanovic. Getting rid of Ether Snipe. Does he have anything big to go along with his Rutwala? Doesn't look that way.
But the board is clear again, and now it is pretty much anybody's game. Ooh, Fateless Looting.
Nice with Rutwala.
Yes, that is some extra value.
And it's even better than Careful Study. That's what I remember. From Standard.
Yeah. Back in the days, we had this blue-green Madness deck with Careful Study. That's, say, the red Fateless Looting, without flashback, with Basking Rutwala, Wild Mongrel, Arrogant Worm. Now, in this format, we may not have Careful Study and Arrogant Worm, but we do have Fateless Looting and Reckless Worm in red. So we still get the whole sense of the Madness team.
And Mjolnir is actually discarding Olivia's Dragoon here, so he probably has a grip full of spells here. What's he gonna add for 3 mana here? Pulse of Murasa on the Dragoon, okay. I mean, he doesn't have any other targets, and so he's just gonna play the Dragoon afterwards. There's a Swamp as well. I would probably try to maybe if he's an expensive card in hand, playing the Swamp is okay. But he has a Faithless Loot in the graveyard now. Maybe he could have thought about keeping the Swamp to discard for later on. But we'll see soon enough. As Vidar Hesselman is gonna play a Murderer's Redcap, he finally has the mana to do it. Gets rid of the Dragoon and provides a very good blocker for the Basking Rutwala.
Yeah, Murderer's Redcap is kind of like a pseudo Shriekmaw on this board. It deals with an opposing creature, it adds a 2/2, and it even has Persist. Easily one of the better uncommons in the entire format.
Right. So, you guys in chat are wondering, like, there was a third person who picked up the card to read it. The fact that there was someone to read doesn't mean that there was a table judge present. We don't have a dedicated judge watching all the camera matches for us, and so there's a big trade of Murderer's Redcaps. So what happened was we actually have one of our spotters, either Matt Light or Neil Rigby, actually picked up to read it out of pure interest to just check. He doesn't have any power to stop the game and change the way the cards are played. He's not there. This person is not a judge.
Yeah, but he missed it as well.
Yeah, of course. If there was a judge who saw the interaction, he could have fixed the situation. But it happened. It happened in the past. We couldn't just stand up and go change it. So yeah. There's a Firewing Phoenix from Vidar Hesselman.
That is a good one, especially when you have this much mana on the battlefield. At some point you can just get to where you are returning the Phoenix from the graveyard and recasting it every turn.
Yeah.
So doing a great blocking duty there.
Needs a lot of red mana, and Vidar Hesselman is a little bit short for now. But I like the way his deck is shaping up, like a blue-red base, and the Vessel gives him the green for the Vengeful Rebirth that we talked about, gives him black for the Dimir Guild Mage if he needs it.
No. Although the whole burn plan is not going to be as effective with Kitanovic at 25 thanks to that Pulse of Murasa.
Good point.
And yeah, it is Hesselman who will be trying to protect his life total here.
So let's see. What is Kitanovic up to?
Right. Could just use the Prism Ring to activate his Lava Claw reaches, swing in with a bunch, but as it turns out, only the red cap. So this does indicate that Kitanovic wants to use his available mana to add something else of relevance to the board.
Yeah, let's see what it is. No blocks from Vidar, by the way. He's going to flashback the Fatal Looting. Maybe there was another land.
Yeah, Vidar didn't have great blocks. It's either a chump block with the Murderer's Redcap, which is not great, or you're trading your 4/2 flyer for a Murderer's Redcap that will come back to shoot down the 1/1.
Yeah. Not great. I mean, I know Vidar actually also has a Fiery Temper in his hand, so he does have some reward. Ooh. So discards a Reckless Worm and gets to play it as well.
More value.
More value. Discards a Satyr Wayfinder as well, so he probably he probably wanted to keep the mountain maybe for easier Lava Claw Reach's activation. There's the Fiery Temper, getting rid of the Rutwala. Time is running out for Vidar Hesselman. Does he have anything to defend himself?
And the Reckless Worm has Trample too, so even if you would be blocking it with the Phoenix to trade for it, you're still taking some extra damage in the process.
Yeah, so that's going to be a Treasure Cruise. Everything is getting exiled here to give Vidar Hesselman 3 more cards. Found the Skuzbek Marauder, found a Blast of Genius. He just needs to survive here.
Yep. Yeah, in terms of card draw effects, Vidar's deck is excellent, but indeed, as you said, he does need to get to the late game. He needs enough time to deploy all of his powerful spells.
Yeah, he also exiled a couple of good cards. He still seems to have plenty of stuff going. I think he has a Patchwork Gnomes, possibly a Reckless Worm of his own. I don't quite see the content of his deck that well, of his hand that well. Yeah, it was a Reckless Worm. I think he has the Skuzbek Marauders as well.
I like... I'm probably just playing the Reckless Worm in order to like set up a trade for the opposing Reckless Worm. Or alternatively, if the Murderous Redcap attacks, you can eat it in combat.
The card that for me has been very overworked in this game has been the Vessel of Endless Rest. Like giving him a mana of any color just allowed him to fire down the Ritual with the Fiery Temper, like accelerate out his Red Cap, just doing so much work. I think it might be one of the really key cards in his deck.
And not to forget also putting that Moan of the Unhallowed onto...
on the bottom,
on the bottom.
You're right.
Because if Kitanovic would have had 2 extra 2/2s on the battlefield here, well, that could have changed things around quite considerably.
Again, using the mana so that he can play the Reckless Worm here to offer up a good blocker. There's the Lava Claw Reaches being reached for again.
Starts off as just a 2/2, but then you can sink X mana into it to give it +X+0 until end of turn. So if Kitanovic activates the Reaches, attacks with everything, then the first thing that comes to my mind is that the Reaches gets blocked by Firewing Phoenix, so those trade. Reckless Worm trades for a Reckless Worm, and then Murderous Redcap, I guess, goes unblocked. That might be fine, actually. Although, if you are hoping at this point that Hesselman has like nothing of relevance left in hand, which is kind of a big hope.
Balefire Dragon, that's a big one.
Indeed. So that's well, a huge flyer, but if it deals damage to a player, then it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. 6/6 flying. Actually, the ability is not particularly relevant, because if Balefire Dragon gets to deal combat damage to a player, the game is over, because then Hesselman is suddenly at a negative life total.
Frank, in this game, it's not as relevant, but in general...
Oh, yes. In general, it's your typical 7 mana Dragon Bomb rare.
Yeah, so Vidar Hesselman playing the Blast of Genius and discards a Dig Through time to kill the dragon.
A big cost, but worth it.
Yeah, he could have like there was still with the Firewing Phoenix, he could have always just blocked, brought it back, recast it, and block again.
Sure.
But of course, this is a better way. Actually, this way he also gets to attack, gets to play the Patchwork Gnomes as well. One of the probably what looks like one of the weaker cards in his deck, but with Fiery Temper, with Reckless Worm, it's actually quite a nice enabler for these Madness synergies.
I do love Hesselman's deck here. I mean, look at his graveyard. It's Dig Through Time, Treasure Cruise, and Blast of Genius. For any blue mage who loves to draw cards, he's living the high life.
And I mean, if he ever draws the Vengeful Rebirth, right, he can buy back any of these and get to cast them again. Oh, the value. Or is it just permanent?
Well, no, Vengeful Rebirth returns any card from the graveyard. Yep. Although, if you return a non-land card, then it deals damage equal to its cost. That's how it works.
That can be a lot of damage. And the Firing Phoenix has started attacking here, so Kitanovic, okay, maybe on a shorter clock, but here's an attack. Yeah, looks like Hesselman will block, try to trade the worms and then trade the Patchwork Gnome for the red cap.
Yeah, these blocks seem to make sense. You could even regenerate it, even though the Murderous red cap will come back with Persist and shoot down 1 more damage. Well, then you have to choose between either the Patchwork Gnomes or the 1/1 red cap.
Yep, so the red cap comes down with a counter. What are you going to shoot down?
We don't really see regenerate much anymore. These days it's mostly indestructible. But regenerate, well, it works in a similar way, but only the first time it gets destroyed, and you also tap it. Indestructible is a bit easier.
Yep. All right, so there's a Kodama's Reach. Digging at more lands. That Lava Claw reaches can become quite big. So Vidar Hesselman has to be very aware of what is going to be going on his blocking side of things.
Yeah, he may need to try to always have 2 blockers available, just to play around a single removal spell and an attack from the Lava Claw reaches.
All right, and there's the Twins of Moor Estate. No madness cost, just a 5-mana 3/5. Ye old Siege Mastodon.
Medium, but but it will still attack for a bunch. But Hesselman at 5, and actually no good blocker for the Twins of Moor Estate. Could do some work still.
The Firing Phoenix going in again, and there's the Skuzzbag Marauders.
Well, that's a good blocker for
and
the
Mad
Twins.
Prophet. Yeah, I mean, I assume Vidar Hesselman is running low on cards in this library because he actually seen quite a bit of it already. You know, another great use for the Vessel of Endless Rest if he draws it late. You know, he can put a really good card on the bottom of the library to get to cast later.
Still, the stack of cards in his library seems large enough, especially given that he only needs 5 attacks with the Phoenix to close it out.
Yeah, plays the thing twice, draws a card, flashback, draws another land here, so double mountain in his hand. He has the Mad Prophet though, that can help him go through these lands into playable spells.
Over the course of the last few turns, Vidar is drawing like 3-4 cards per turn on average.
Yeah.
The amount of velocity is incredible. Faithless Looting into the graveyard as well, just to make sure you mill yourself faster.
Yeah, Generator Servant is interesting.
I do hope that he has Laboratory Maniac in his deck.
That would be great. That would be truly awesome. No, yeah, Miodrag Kitanovic looks like he's just drawing a bunch of lands, even though he played that Kodama's Reach to get 2 of those out of the library. I mean, Hesselman is also drawing quite a few lands of his own, but he has the Mad Prophet. He doesn't mind. Look at that. Yeah, he's counting his library like...
It seems like 8?
8 or 9,
yeah.
Oh. Right, Fadeless Looting. Okay, he's looking for more action. He found a Vengeful Rebirth.
Okay, so that can return the Blast of Genius, which can then probably win the game somehow.
He can also bring back Dig Through Time to deal 8. Yeah, so now he's attacking with the Marauders as well. Maybe hoping that Miodrag takes it, because if there's no big block from Kitanovic, maybe block with Lava Claw reaches. Okay.
Well, then you're still trampling for 3.
So it's going to mean that Kitanovic is going to go down to 6.
Yeah, and this should be lethal with the Vengeful Rebirth.
Yep.
You can just return, say, Dig Through Time, deal 8.
Yeah, or even just go for Exactsies with the Blast of Genius and leave up the possibility for next time round. So bring Mid Blast, deal 6 to you, and that's game 1 for Vidar Hesselman. It didn't quite pull off the crazy combo, but it was still pretty good.
It's still kind of a Teamer burn finish.
Yeah, and Mad Prophet doing work, digging him through his library there in the mid to late game, and just being an all-around powerhouse. I really like Mad Prophet, and I'm sad I didn't get to play as much with it when it first came out, because it was an uncommon, and everyone wanted to pick it highly. So
I mean, it's especially good in this format, because you can discard Madness cards for value, you can discard Flashback cards, and then flash them back from the graveyard. You can set up your graveyard to fuel Delve. There's just so many little synergies with discard enablers that their value is way higher in this format.
Right, so there's a Basking Ritual on turn 1 again, a Pump on turn 2 again, and now Kodama's Reach on turn 3 for Kitanovic. That's going to set him up well for the following turns, and fix his mana as well. I assume he's going to find a mountain to put into play or into his hand. and we'll see if Hesselman will be able to stabilize now. He did. I think Hesselman did a very good job of like managing his resources, especially his life total, and got to the end game that is just so good for his deck.
Yeah, his life total got somewhat low, but he still had enough of a buffer to eventually take over in the late game. Because looking at these two decks, Hesselman's deck is way better if the game goes long. His spells are just more powerful, and he just keeps drawing cards and digging deeper into his deck.
Yeah, as I was talking about in the previous game, Vessel of Endless Rest is a super powerful card for Vidar, because it just allows him to do way more with his mana, and also fixes the colors. Because now he's going to accelerate out the turn 4 Skazbek Marauders, so a 5/2 trample persist.
Yep. A good blocker for the Rootwalla. Or if Rootwalla isn't going to attack, well, the Skazbek Marauders could also act as a fine attacker, 5/2 trample.
Yeah, remember, we're both players at 4 wins and 0 losses, and each player needs to get at least to 6 wins to make it to day 2.
Yeah, 6 and 2 is what you need.
That was good. So Murderer's Red Cap to kill the Marauders, and then Last Caps to finish it off, and attack for 3 here. But I assume Vidar might have some more things to do on his own turn, present more blockers. There's a Patchwork Gnomes. We know about the Fiery Temper.
Yep.
Sweet interaction. Put up a regeneration shield.
And you still get to cast the Fiery Temper for 1 red mana. Yeah, it's card advantage machines all around. Skazbek Marauder traded for 2 cards. Murderous Redcap is gonna be a 2 for 1 or even better. And now the Patchwork Gnomes together with Fiery Temper. Well, then effectively you might turn the regenerate plus 3 damage from Fiery Temper into a 2 for 1. So lots of value generated by both players.
Yep, there's a swing in with the Rootwalla and the Murderous Red Cap. So blocking the Red Cap, pumping the Rootwalla, and I think now Vidar Hesselman's gonna probably, maybe even already in response, is gonna go for a Fiery Temper on the little lizard.
I like the play.
Me too. So these are gonna trade though. The Red Cap's gonna come down. He's gonna shoot the Patchwork Gnomes again, and Vidar Hesselman's just gonna regenerate again. He wants to keep that Patchwork Gnomes around. Ooh. Oh, but the Dimir Guildmage coming down from the John deck of Kitanovic, who also has a Prismatic Lens, so he can definitely fix his mana to get blue to draw some cards.
Indeed, it would be effectively 5 mana total to draw a card, but it is still a fine ability if you have some mana left over.
All right, so Vengeful Rebirth, kill the Guildmage, bring back Fiery Temper. Oh, play a Raging Ravine. Look at that. He even has the nice fixing for his Vengeful Rebirth.
I love it.
It's great. He has a straight blue-red deck with a tinies of splashes for a great card. I mean, Vengeful Rebirth is a fantastic value spell that really can do nice things with your Eldrazi, your Treasure Cruisers, your Dig Through Times. I mean, even bringing back something like the Skazbek Marauders, right? It's 5 damage, and you bring a really good creature back into your hand.
Yeah, but he still chose the Fiery Temper. I'm actually thinking maybe the Skazbek Marauders was better, but I guess having an answer to the Olivia's Dragoon, which can just gain flying, may be more valuable when your life total is getting low.
Yep. Ooh, there's the Balefire Dragon though. Kitanovic taps all his mana, plays out this big dragon. No more Vengeful Rebirth. Is there a Blast of Genius? I just see Fatal's looting.
Well, there better be.
Okay, Treasure Cruise first. 1, 2, land, Ether Snipe.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Remember, there's also this Lava Claw reaches, so it's going to be an attack with the Balefire Dragon and three other attackers. So Hesselman, if he doesn't have an answer for the dragon, needs to add a blocker to the board and somehow cause the Fiery Temper to survive. Yeah, that is not going to be. I don't think that this is happening.
I think Kitanovic has exactly lethal here because the dragon is going to deal 6 no matter what. Even if Hesselman blocks something and Fiery Temper something, at least the Murderous Red Cap is going to get through. And with Hesselman tapping out also for for Faithless Looting. He only has the one red mana up, and Kitanovic actually even knows it's the Fire Temper. He knows about the card, so you see him just like checking, like, am I missing something? If I just swing with everything, is that lethal? It is going to be. Here's a swing with everything, and we're going to see a game 3 of this match. And Kitanovic making a good job of putting up the pressure game after game. And then we'll see. He's going to get a chance to fight back in the third game.
Yeah, I would say it's a matter of two things. One was like early pressure that was very important in getting the opponent down to a low life total, plus the dragon, for which there was no answer. And then, well, as many limited games go, when you resolve some bomb 6/6 dragon in the late game, and the opponent doesn't have a way around it, it's gonna take down the game.
Right. So this time Vidar Hesselman could be on the play. Let's see if no turn 1 root swallow though. That seemed like a big part of his plans in the previous game, just chipping in for the early damage.
It's not even a forest.
Yeah, exactly. There's a generator servant. I think Kitanovic has last gasp. Yep. Killing the servant here, not wanting to risk any early Skazbag Marauders hasting in. Still no forest for Kitanovic here.
Yeah, it looks like he is indeed missing one of his main colors.
Yeah, and now Hesselman. Okay, Patchwork Gnomes. Saying no, I think he drew a forest.
Well, maybe that's still in time then.
Yep.
All right.
Nice. We have a game on our hands.
Yeah, because as we mentioned before, Hesselman's late game is still the more powerful one. So Kitanovic really needs to get some board advantage quickly and start attacking. Otherwise, if he gives Hesselman too much time, then all those card draw effects are going to swarm him. Right.
So Wild Mongrel came to the party, but he's already facing off against the Marauders. It's going to be a tough ask for Kitanovic. He seemed to have very many good answers to the Marauders with their persist trigger. There's the Kodama's Reach. It's quite a poor turn in the face of a 5/2 Trampler.
On the other hand, if he is ramping into the Balefire Dragon again, well, he could easily take it down if Hesselman just hasn't drawn any of his removal spells. But yeah, that Skazbag Marauder almost surely is going to attack on the next turn, and then it's going to be tough for Kitanovic to figure out what to do with it. You don't really want to be taking 5, but yeah, blocking and then trading Wild Mongrel for just a -1/-1 counter onto the Marauders, and also taking a bunch of trample damage in the process does not seem great either.
Yeah, Wayfinder found a forest.
What is that red card that was milled over? Is that the dragon? I can't quite make it out.
No, it was a Reckless Worm.
Okay, so the dragon dream is still alive.
Very much so. There's a Murderous Redcap from Hesselman. Kills off the State of Wayfinder. Let's see if Kitanovic ramped up into the correct card that he needs it. He's counting out Graveyard, interestingly enough.
So that might signify something like a Gurmok Angler.
Maybe, Vengeful Rebirth of his own.
Could be. Lots of effects utilize the graveyard in this format. Could be, for example, Death Denied, where you just return X creatures back to your hand.
That would be really good here. He has 3 creatures in his graveyard, so for 5 mana. Okay, pass. I think Death Denied is an instant.
Yes. So that might easily be what's going on here. No dragon, notably. Yeah, if you're Hesselman, you have to imagine that there's some instance coming, because Kitanovic was missing colors at the beginning of the game, so he must have a hand filled with spells.
Yeah, but this is good for Hesselman. Okay, there's a Grave Scrabbler.
All right,
that makes sense. So it's a 4 mana 2/2, but it has Madness for 1 on the black, and if it's Madness out, you can raise that, and he's actually bringing back the Reckless Worm.
Yep. So it's effectively a 2 mana Grave Digger, but only if you Madness it.
All right. So there's the Marauders. Okay, Fire takes care of the Scrabbler, so that means that there's going to be some trampling over here. for the Marauders. Yep, so Kitanovic down to 10, and that's living dangerously against the Blast of Geniuses and Vengeful Rebirths on Hesselman's side.
Hesselman has been firing off those cards for up to 9 damage already in this event, so 10 might seem a lot, but not here.
Let's see what else Kitanovic has going on here. Yeah, Madness being instant speed is so sweet here.
Kitanovic still has to keep defending. I don't see him all of a sudden turning the corner and start attacking and getting into a damage race.
Okay, so that's Eternal Witness. Bring back the Murderer's Redcap. That's probably going to kill the Dimmer Guild Mage on Hesselman's side of the board. Yeah, that was a good set of turns for Kitanovic.
It seems like a good target. And then we're not going to see the Murderer's Redcap.
Nope, not just yet. It's like maybe there was also a Twins of Mortar Estate drawn.
But suppose the Murderer's Redcap would come down.
Yeah, it will.
And then blocks the Scuzzback Marauders. Both creatures would die. And then you get 2 persist triggers. But it goes active player, non-active player. So if Kitanovic blocks Scuzzback Marauders with Murderer's Redcap, his Murderer's Redcap will come back first, gets to shoot 1 damage at something, and then a 4/1 Scuzzback Marauders will enter the battlefield after. You know
your triggers and stacking.
Yeah, but that is going to be important.
Yeah,
that the Redcap will not be able to shoot down a 4/1 Marauders.
Yeah. Okay, something's happening here. We have a judge here trying to explain. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what is happening here. Maybe you're trying to figure out if someone has played 2 lands.
That is not the case, because previous turn we were talking about Balefire Dragons, and this is now 1 turn later.
Yeah. And they're also counting cards for some reason. Yeah. So both players explaining. If possible, someone has called judge here. All right, so we'll figure out soon enough what this was about. You see, counting cards. And maybe one of the players drew an extra card, or potentially maybe someone claiming that by mistake maybe drawing an extra card off of the Fatalist Looting or something similar. So
that is possible. It could be one explanation. Yeah, I don't immediately see any let's say rules violation. That happened here.
Maybe something with discarding. Maybe a player has forgotten to discard a card or something similar. I really don't know.
Enough. In the meantime, if you like this Ultimate Masters set, over in March, starting on March 6, Ultimate Masters is coming back for another week on Magic Online. It was announced in the Magic Online column by Ellie Medwin yesterday. So this format, many players that I've talked to have said that it was one of the best, if not the best, limited format they've played all time. So lots of high praise, just due to all the funky synergies you can assemble and the large amount of possibilities. Yeah, here we have 2,500 players, give or take, at the main event. Not to mention the huge turnout for all the side events. Yeah.
All right. Still, judges trying to figure out what is happening there. Yeah, we'll try to speed up a little bit here until the players start playing again. All right. So they're rewinding. Yeah. Okay, so possibly that they think Miodrak played an extra land. It's possible.
That is not the case.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But there's no way for us to step in, given that this is a time walk match, which was pre-recorded.
All right, so we got information from a judge that the judge standing there at the time thought, they was pretty sure that Kitanovic played 2 lands that turn. So they were just trying to figure out. They were doing the math from the previous turn, and then he has then ruled that indeed Kitanovic has played an extra land.
I mean, it is
So
possible.
there's a rewound.
It is possible that an extra land was played on the previous turn.
Possible, yes.
That I did not verify. But yeah, it is always a bit weird when you have 5 lands and then the opponent has 8.
Yeah.
And then like with all the card draw spells and everything going on, might as well double check. And it could easily be that, for example, we missed that an extra land was played on the previous turn or so.
Yep. All right. So Marauders should be brought back, right, from Persist with a counter as well. I don't think it had a counter before. Yeah, because Kitanovic took 2 of the 3 trampling over, so maybe just forgetting the Persist trigger.
Yeah, well,
might favor Kitanovic here, who has the red cap and can finally play it again.
You are not obliged to point out your opponent's triggers.
True.
So you forgetting can happen.
Oh yep. Now they've figured it out. We have Hesselman pointing to his Kazbek Marauders, but he already passed the turn. The time to resolve that trigger is already passed. All right. So the Twins of Morris, they are a decent blocker on the ground, but Kitanovic now has a decision to make. He has the red cap. He can shoot down the Dimir Guild Mage. Maybe shoot down the Phoenix. Looking at his graveyard again quite a bit. Again, possibly some stuff happening there. Oh, I think he was resolving a Fadeless Looting, discarding two lands there, and now he's going to play the red cap. It's going to be Phoenix. It's going to be.
And I have to imagine, if only to buy some time. Wait, that Phoenix should go to the graveyard. Eventually, it can come back into your hand, but you do have to pay 4 mana for that. Well, this is indeed a format where many players just don't have a lot of experience with these cards, so mistakes are happening. That said, Kitanovic is at 8, so 2 attacks from the Phoenix will be lethal. It will take a while for the Phoenix to come back into Hesselman's hand and then recast it again. Maybe Kitanovic can attack for lethal before all that happens. And yeah, given that Hesselman is planning to just spend his mana on the Phoenix, the activated ability of Dimir Guildmage is not that valuable to him, and therefore he's happy to trade it for the Lava Claw Reaches.
Yep, we've sped up the Time Walk match a little bit here because we have already seen the pairings for next round are going up, and we want to bring more life magic. And well, of course, finishing this game and match. There's a Phoenix coming back here for Hesselman. There's another mountain being drunk for him as well. It's quite important for his deck. And now Kitanovic is on a Thermo Alchemist plan in his Jund deck.
Yeah, well, in the damage race between a Firewing Phoenix and a Thermo Alchemist, well, Firewing Phoenix wins, especially when Kitanovic is at half the life total of Hesselman.
Yeah, I mean, we saw already in previous game that Kitanovic basically doesn't have any good ways to deal with these persist creatures, or these creatures that are coming back. Didn't seem to have any exiling effects at his disposal. Now Aether's Knight bouncing the Twins of Morrow Estate to open up the way for the Reckless Worm to attack as well. Tough spot for the Serb here on our right.
For sure, he needs to answer so many things at the same time.
So he did have something against a Graveyard card. There's an Awful Snout being played there at instant speed.
Yep, gets snouted.
It's snouted. He can also use the trigger of the Awful Snout to exile something, which is quite relevant, I feel, with Vengeful Rebirth and Treasure Cruise Dig Through Time, or if declines to use the trigger there as well. Yeah, well, trigger is not the strongest suite of either of these players, it seems.
Well, better find a good blocker for the Phoenix, or it is over. As it turns out, it was over. It
was over, and Vidar Hesselman with his cool deck up to 5-0. We didn't quite see the really cool part that we talked about. It, like Blast of Genius for 9, bring it back with Vengeful Rebirth, hit you for 9, but still. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, we also didn't get to see like the 8-8 living lore and like the real full scale of possibilities, but it was still an impressive showing of a Temur deck with a lot of card draw and strong late game staying power.
Yeah, this format is pretty fun. All right, so more Magic coming your way soon. We're gonna swap out for Raf and Tim. See you soon.